It's a great time, really. I think for our church, we're excited about this opportunity. I know it brings some angst to some traditional Catholics. When we hear the title, Respectable Sins, we're inclined to say, no, there's no such thing as respectable sins. When I was growing up, I learned, hey, all sin is sin, and that's it, even the big ones. And we had the distinction between mortal and venial sins. We still do. And in many ways, it's akin to that. And what we are saying is there are a lot of sins that we don't pay great attention to, that we tolerate in our lives, and we don't try to change the behavior. And what we are reflecting on during this Lenten season is there's great value in attempting to change some of those sins that we tolerate. Thus, the title, Respectable Sin. Okay, this week we are talking about the sins of anxiety, frustration, and discontentment. Naturally, a lot of people will say, and particularly us as born Catholics or raised up as Catholic, we'd be inclined to say, well, hey, everybody experiences anxiety and frustration and discontentment. True. But I think last Sunday's first reading from the book of Sirach is very helpful. It says, when a sieve is shaken, the husks appear. So one's false when one speaks. In other words, listen to somebody speak about anxiety, frustration, and discontentment. To what extent do they have a hopefulness that they will make their way through this? To what extent does God appear in that experience of that struggle? And this is the core piece of the question that we are looking at. I think it's best to look at these when we talk about anxiety, frustration, and discontentment. It's best to see them on a continuum, saying, yes, everybody has an experience to some extent of each of these. But the question is, about the continuum, if we see each of these sins on a continuum, say for example, one is at 20%, they're going to look radically different to one who is at 80 or 85 or 90% anxiety or frustration or discontentment. And the big core question is naturally, to what extent can God help me through this experience of anxiety, through this experience of frustration, through this experience of discontentment? And hopefully that will be our question as we enter into this struggle. If I don't see a hope for God guiding me and helping me through these experiences, this is where the sin lies.